Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from the fifth group of differentiated learning project. First thing first, I will introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Reyhan Afrizal. As the moderator of this group, the member of the group is, the first one is Banu Tama. The second is FiFi Anjarwati. The third one is Kamila, Ridha, Amalia. The fourth is Aluf Mawsali. And the last one is Ninda, Maya, Ertha. In here, we will explain differentiated learning starting from the basic theory, and then we will provide a video example of implementation of differentiated learning in the classroom, and then we will analyze the video and relate the video to the supporting theory.
Now we will learn about differentiated learning. What is differentiated learning? According to Morgan 2014, differentiated learning is a way of recognizing and teaching according to students' different talents and learning styles. Meanwhile, according to Tugas 2004, differentiated learning is learning that creates various flows. The main goal of differentiated learning is to ensure that every student can reach their maximum potential and feel motivated in the learning process, and prevent them from experiencing failure and frustration in learning. Now we will talk about principles of differentiated learning. First, learning environment. In this principle, requires teachers to pay attention to the comfort and safety of students while studying in class. Second, quality of curriculum. The curriculum must be able to make students understand the material taught properly. Third, continuous assessment. There are several assessment carried out by the teacher at the beginning before starting the lesson. This assessment aims to find out what extent students understand the lesson material to be studied, as well as to measure the extent of students' readiness of the learning objectives. Then, the teacher will conduct a second assessment, a formative assessment, which aims to find out whether there are still material that is unclear or difficult for students to understand, to find out whether there are problems faced by students that make it difficult for them to understand. During the learning process, the teacher also pays attention to how students learn, whether some need help in doing their assignment. After the learning process ends, the teacher re-evaluates an assessment of learning outcomes at the end, for example, asking students to make a certain product in the form of a video, poster, poem, and so on. 4. Responsive teaching. Formative assessment can also provide teachers with information about their shortcomings in guiding students to understand the contents of the lesson. After knowing this, teacher can respond to the form of changing their teaching according to students' needs, modifying learning plans, and so on. 5 is leadership and routines in the classroom. Leadership here means how teachers as leaders can lead their students so that they can participate in learning in conducive conditions and situations. Meanwhile, routines in the classroom refer to the teacher's skills in managing and organizing their class as well, so that learning can take place effectively and efficiently. Next is differentiation learning strategy. Each student has a different style, so grouping students based on needs by first, content differentiation, which is adjusting learning material based on students' readiness, interests, and learning profiles. Second, process differentiation, which is adjusting way of delivering materials or giving instructions to students based on their learning styles. Third, product differentiation, which is adjusting the learning outcomes that students need to do based on their level of mastery of the material.
Okay, so I would like to explain the aspects of differentiated learning. So according to Tomlinson and Moon, there are 3 different aspects. The first one is readiness, and then interest, and the last one is student learning profile. So the student learning profile refers to the approach or how the student like best in order to understand the material well. Because some students, they like to study in a large group, while others prefer to study in a smaller one, or pair, or even alone. There are 7 characteristics of differentiated learning. The first one is proactive, meaning that the teacher, they has actively anticipated the class that he or she will teach by planning different learning for each student, emphasizing quality over quantity, rooted in assessment, and providing various approaches by adjusting to the level of readiness, interest, and learning styles. Differentiated learning is also a learner-oriented. It is a mixture of individual and classical learning. This can be seen from the application in the classroom where the teacher allows the student to work together classically, but also they work individually. And then the last one is alive, meaning that there is continuous collaboration between the teachers and the students. The next topic is how to implement differentiated learning in the classroom. Purba states that the implementation of differentiated learning is carried out through series of interrelated, continuous, and repetitive stages which create a process cycle. And here are some steps to follow. The first one is to recognize student characteristics during learning activity. So the teacher, they can observe the student's nature, their interest, and their learning style. After that, they can divide them into several groups depending on the characteristic. And then the teacher choose the learning topics and give them choices related to the task, the learning method, and the learning media. And then the teacher also conduct assessment at the beginning, during, and at the end of the learning activities. Also, evaluations and reflections. And here are some benefits of differentiated learning. The first one is increasing students' participation. Students feel more appreciated and listen because the materials are tailored based on the level of understanding. Differentiated learning can also increase their conceptual understanding because the teacher, they use various methods to ensure the level of understanding of their students. It can also create an inclusive environment, facilitate the development of social skills because they work in small groups a lot, and can also increase their level of confidence.
Now, I will show the video related to the implementation of differentiated learning in 7th grade of junior high school. So, let's check it out.
For today, we are going to continue from yesterday. Kita lanjut materi yang kemarin ya. Oke, so the first one, mampu menyebutkan hobi dan kegemaran. Masih lanjutan kemarin ya, hobi dan kegemaran. Tadi kita ada fishing, shopping, traveling, listening to music. Okay. Then for today we are going to differentiate, membedakan penggunaan like, likes, don't like, and doesn't like. Terus kita terapkan dalam kalimat. Okay, let's work in group.
In this video, the teacher divided into some group based on the student's learning style, auditory and visual.
And one more, okay, Iza. Please check your group. Silahkan dicek di grupnya. I shared something in the group. I have question on that one. Okay, finish ya, itu kayak. Now, Miss Ridha have a questions related to the video. Miss Ridha, last video, what do the people do? Orang-orangnya ngapain sih? Baik, okay, please raise your hand. Itu ya, riding a bike. Kelihatan kan di akhir videonya mereka naik sepeda. Okay, that's it. Now, the first task, yang tugas pertama, on your handout worksheet, udah ada kan di meja masing-masing.
Students with a visual learning style read material through text from the teacher.
This group 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to share the audio. Miss Dita share audionya ya, silahkan didengarkan, lalu diisi titik-titiknya.
Students with an auditory learning style listen to material via audio from the teacher.
Coba kita cek apakah betul atau salah berdasarkan teksnya. Hello, my name is Patty and I'm 8 years old. Oke, 8 tahun. Now let's complete this one. Kita coba lengkapi. Ada yang mau maju? Oke, Emily. Lengkapi dulu. Let's check this one. Like, Yang pakai like kita ada I, bener apa salah? Yes, ada ya di teksnya. Apa coba contoh yang di teksnya? Yes, I like doing ballet. Ada punya siapa tadi udah mesti tak attach. Shall we answer together? Kita jawab bersama. Coba kita cek yang A. Eva phoning friends. Jawabannya apa? Doesn't like. Oke, Ike bilangnya doesn't like. That's right. Oke. Let's try B. Siapa ya B? I want. Coba Quina. B. Tom and Joe. Right. Yes, that's right.
Students have different characteristics such as the character, learning style, visual, audio, and kinesthetic, and then multiple intelligences such as verbal linguistic intelligence, musical intelligence, and others. In the learning process, the teacher makes some groups based on the students' learning style. The teachers use a variety of learning media, so the students with different learning style can be facilitated well. For students who have visual learning style, the teacher displays comics or pictures related to the learning material. And for students who have auditory learning style, the teacher displays videos related to the learning material via YouTube. For students who have kinesthetic learning style, the teacher uses visual teaching aids. Besides learning style, students also have different level of understanding. There are students who are fast learners and there are students who are slow learners. For students who are slow learners, the teacher can provide guidance or questions to stimulate students' understanding.
The teacher divided the classroom into 4 different groups. Presumably, before she doing it so, she has already conducted an initial or diagnostic assessment before. She did it in purpose to find out what are the learning modalities her students possess. What are learning modalities can be described as a learner's preferences about perceiving, and processing information. In doing so, a human might involve each of every their senses, from sight, hearing, touch, smell, and even taste. They use their senses to catch or to record a certain input from their surrounding, transfer it into their brain, and doing a certain cognitive process to comprehend, to analyze, and to think about those information.
Introduce the VARK model. The V is for visual, A is for auditory, R is for reading, and K is for kinesthetic. They are sometimes mistakenly considered as learning style, even though it is different. It means that if a certain student has a certain learning style, it has to be maximized all the time. But in reality, some students can have a multiple modalities. So let's back to the video. The teacher is actually want to engage visual and auditory modalities. On the video, teacher assigned the first group with a picture cue assignment. The teacher hopes that the student can easily recognize and memorize what they see through the picture. Next, the oral or auditory modalities. Oral or audio modalities prefer to catch or take or record the information based on their hearing sense. In the video, the teacher assigned the second, the third, and the fourth group using a video recording. Students supposed to hear the video to answer worksheets.
I want to explain about the zone of proximal development or SDP theory that appears on the previous video, especially the scaffolding aspect. In educational context, it refers to support provided to students to help them develop new skills and knowledge. The elements of scaffolding. First is initial support. Scaffolding involves providing more intensive helps at the beginning of learning process. And this could be in the form of explanation, example, and visual aids. The second is needs-based adjustment. The support provided should be tailored to the individual needs. This involves
observation and judgment by the educator to determine when and how much help is needed. Number three is reduced support. As students become more independent and confident in their new skills, support from the educator may decrease. The ultimate goal is to have students able to perform tasks or understand concepts independently. And the last one is social interaction. Scaffolding often involves interaction between students and educator or between fellow students. Discussion, collaboration, and feedback become an important part of the learning process. The benefit of scaffolding can improve student understanding. With the right support, students can understand the difficulty of the concept more easily and then build students' confidence. The goals of scaffolding is to help students become independent learners who can apply the skills they have learned in different contexts.
So we are reaching the end of our videos. Previously, all of my friends already explained about differentiated learning and provide the theory from some expert. We also analyze real-life example of the implementation of differentiated learning in the classroom. And so if I can conclude, differentiated learning is basically teaching strategies that acknowledge each and every student's different needs and different learning style and their interests. There are three key components, which is differentiation in the contents, differentiation in the products, and differentiation in the process. From our example videos, we found out about learning modalities and also multiple intelligence. Learning modalities is basically how each and every student perceive or receive information. It can be kinesthetic, visual, or auditory. And from the video, most of the students is a visual and auditory learners. Differentiated learning and learning modalities, if combined together, can create a learning environment and more inclusive situation in the classrooms. In the end, the students can achieve their educational goals more efficient and more effective. I think that's all for the conclusion of this video. Okay, I think that's all from our video. Thank you for your attention. If you have a suggestion or critics or anything, you can leave it in the comment section. So don't forget to subscribe and like our video. Thank you and good day everyone.